Good morning. Hi, I'm Frank Messina, and this is the June 16, 2026 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. Before we formally start the meeting, there are a couple of notes that we have to mention. This meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly after for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Seeing none. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2028 signing of Chapter 2 of Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A-20, until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that people who would like to listen to the meeting while it is progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 262-163-783#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the proposed agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. Okay, the first order of business is a roll call. Bob Lear, Vice Chair.
Here.
Nancy Barr, Clerk.
Here.
Stephanie Hamilton.
Here.
Robert Stevens.
Here.
Janet Tennyson.
Here.
Robert Wilson.
Here.
Peter Donovan, alternate.
Here.
And last but not least, Sandy Porter, alternate.
You were here.
Thank you very much. So we have a full complement of regular members at the meeting, which means that the alternates will participate in the discussion, but they will not be voting on today's applications. Before we start, I want to just note that I want to change the agenda, unless anybody has any major objections, to bring 10 Kingsbury Way up after 7 Lanou Drive. Those are three applications, 44 Vineyard, 76, and 10 Kingsbury Way, which should be rather straightforward after the site visit, and I think the other members will agree. So I think it will facilitate matters and not have applicants stand around, because we have two longer potential applications, one in a National Register District and a historic structure on School Street. Having said that, no objections, we'll do that. Next item on the agenda is the minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one from May 19 and June 2nd, 2026. Let's do the May 19th first.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from May 19th, 2026.
Before we vote on that, could I add a suggestion to the minutes? On the second page, the 4th line after Harvard Business School, I believe I also said that a previous occupant had been president of Princeton University, and their family still owns the house.
Okay. Get that, Annie? Okay. So motion on the minutes as modified. Get a second to that?
Second.
Okay. All right. Any members of the public wish to speak? All right. Vice Chair Bob Lear.
Yes.
Nancy Barr.
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Robert Stevens.
Yes.
Janet Tennyson.
Yes.
Robert Wilson.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. By the way, the chair forgot to vote that I'm present. I apologize for that. Okay, next set of minutes is June 2nd, 2026. Any comments, corrections, additions? Motion to accept?
Move we accept the minutes for June 2nd meeting?
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments? Vice Chair Bob Lear,
Yes.
Nancy Barr,
Yes.
Stephanie Hamilton.
Yes.
Robert Stevens,
Yes.
Janet Tennyson,
Yes.
Robert Wilson.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, very good. Moving along. The first application we'll be hearing will be 26011, 44 Vineyard Avenue. Could you please come forward if you're here? This is an application on a property. We had a site visit yesterday, which we appreciate the applicants being present to give us a sense. There is no Form B on this property. It is not located in any National Register district, and the town survey prepared by a preservation consultant is a no list. What that means is no, we would not expend our resources to generate a Form B for the property. Having said that, it probably is the consideration of the commission, I'm not going to speak for them, that this property, particular property, although it does meet the age requirement, excuse me, turning pages, this was built in 1950s, correct?
Yes.
So why don't you just introduce yourself quickly and generally speak to what you're planning to do, although we do take a vote first relative, after you speak, relative to the property, whether we consider it historically significant. If we determine the property is not historically significant, obviously, we have
Problem.
nothing to say quite candidly to the application. But just for the general public, why don't you give us a quick overview of what you're planning to do?
My name is Mike Thiel from Thiel Property Services. Basically, on the main house to the right, there, we'll be taking the front roof and back roof off and putting a full shed dormer on the back and the dormers along the front. And replacing on the lower half of the house is existing vinyl siding. And the owner wants to put the hardy clapboards on the front. And on the left side here, that are all the old white cedar shingles, we'll be doing the hardy white clapboards there as well.
Okay, there was some comment or discussion at the site visit
Right.
relative to the siding, and we appreciate the fact that.
And the remaining three sides, they will eventually do all new white cedar shingles.
Okay, very good. Well, okay, members, why don't we quickly, unless someone has some really strong comments relative to what's being proposed, relative to whether or not the property we consider is historically significant or not. So does they have any issues or concern? We'll start with you, historically significant. Robert?
Yes, I did visit the property, and it is attractive for its vintage, but I don't deem it to be historically significant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bob? Robert?
Yes, I was on the site visit as well, and I don't think it's historical. I like the house, and I like what you're doing, but it doesn't fall in the historical bucket.
No.
I don't think it falls in the historical significance.
Thank you, Janet.
I went on the site visit, I agreed, not historically significant.
Sin?
I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Bob?
Nothing to add.
All right. Sandy?
Nothing to add.
Robert? I'm sorry. Peter?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. So I think there's general consensus that we don't find the property meets the criteria for historical significance. Just one quick side. This property, 1950, the public is going to be asking, why are you even looking at this property? That is an issue that this commission is trying to wrestle down. Grab that greased pig.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. We have a bylaw which defines historical significance, the beginning of that at 75 years. I think the public needs to understand, in 10 years, most of the houses in Chatham, including River Bay, are going to be 75.
Right.
And so we have some issues to discuss, and we'll be talking more about, and I think one of the comments from someone else in the community is maybe we should get a group together to discuss it besides just the commission itself. So we'll talk about it. But again, as far as this is concerned, a motion probably is appropriate relative to historic significant. Bob?
Okay, I move the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 44 Vineyard Avenue is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in Section 158-2, A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion from members of the commission? Anybody in the public wish to speak for or against the motion? Seeing none. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert Wilson?
Yes.
Frank Messina? Thank you very much. You're now an award-winning preservation.
Yes.
Yes,
builder,
yeah.
right?
I'm in the club now.
Robert received one of our preservation rewards at the Preservation Award Ceremony, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next application is 26012, 76 Lanu, did I get it right? Drive. Again, partial demolition, heard and referred, Chapter 158. This is again a property which is no Form B, located not in the historic district, on no on-town surveys, and no list. But this property is approaching 100 years old. So, you know, another wrinkle on the whole issue. And so why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, commission. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of David Parker. David unfortunately could not be here today. He has owned this property and also the one that was sort of behind you on the other side of the lawn at 40 Lenore Drive for the last 20-odd years. David has long roots in Chatham and would like to make some changes to it. We understand, of course, that it was apparently built around 1929. It has been modified, changed, added to over the years, which is not at all unusual for older homes. And we are seeking, David is seeking to put on an addition on the site that you saw, single-story addition. I sympathize with the chair's remarks about the 75-year cutoff. I will soon be historic based on that determination, which is a separate problem. That's a personal problem. But while it is historic in the sense of it being part of the Lenore Drive neighborhood, the Lenore sisters developed that, and they owned the property originally. I don't know that it meets any of the criteria for you to find it historic, but we certainly would understand that you might. However, I don't think that the proposed addition, and I don't think you need to find that the proposed addition would change any historic designation that you might seek to make. We do appreciate your coming out yesterday morning. Most of you were there. And recognizing you have other issues today, that's essentially all I had. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. One of the nicest parts of site visits on the Historical Commission, in the many years I've been on it, is discovering new neighborhoods in town. It's amazing. You go down the street and you discover, well, this is just not a street. This is a whole neighborhood, a whole community within Chatham, so it was really kind of nice. Mike, I thank you for your time and your brief presentation, and I guess I tend to agree. Although this may be two houses which are stuck together, it's really not clear that, from my perspective, it's historically significant. But having said that, we'll start at this end. Peter, any comments?
No comment for me.
Yeah. Sandy?
I don't find this historically significant.
Thank you. Robert?
Yeah, I was at the site visit, and we did discuss sort of what is the old part, and we're not entirely clear, but it did appear that there was a chunk to the rear that may have been the original part, but it too may have had dormers added onto it. So being able to define that historical piece is a struggle, and therefore I don't think it rises to the level of historical significance.
Thank you. Nancy?
I have trouble not declaring a house almost 100 years old in our town not historically significant. And I do think that the Lenore sisters and that little development and building a cottage that grows higgledy-piggledy is a little bit iconic for the period. So I do not see any problems, I'll jump ahead and say, with what they want to do. I find them sensitive. I don't believe they impact on any historical significance, but I have a challenge with declaring this house not significant. I think there are elements of it, including original materials that, that are intact fully, look like they are, that go back to almost 100 years old.
Jen?
I agree with Nancy. I think it does have a couple of reasons to be historically significant. As Mr. Litchfield said, the neighborhood, and if you really examine it with a fine-tooth comb, you can find the original, some of the original, but no reason to not go ahead with the improvements. I don't think it will ruin the historic significance of it.
I agree with the two ladies to my left, but I don't think that it's going to cause a problem to do what you want to do.
Robert?
I agree with the three of you.
Bob?
Yes, I visited the site, and it's clear it has some old bones hidden in there, but there have been multiple layers of renovations. And I agree that's sort of charming in a way, as Nancy says, but the historic aspect is not visible. It's kind of inside, and it's not our purview to go inside the house. So I'm going to say really not historic, but I can be a minority. I'm okay being a minority voter.
Oh, I tend to agree both sides of the room here, but I think just as our preservation consultant doing the surveys looked at it, you know, does it meet the criteria of historic preservation as historically significant? It may have some bones, there may be some parts of it which are old. And this reminds me of an application we did last week, where inside the house, surrounded by multiple generations of changes, there was a, you know, probably a house which was maybe 100 years old, but it ain't there anymore. And, that's, so from my perspective, I don't think it meets our general criteria to declare it historically significant on any of the ground rules we use, or any of the criteria that we use in terms of style, period, et cetera, et cetera. So I would not support a motion to claim it's historically significant. Having said that, I want to move things along. And so, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, if you would make a motion, we can get something officially through a discussion.
Okay, I'll start with the not historically significant one, since it's on top here. I move the Chatham Historical Commission find that the building located at 76 Leno Drive, Chatham, is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in Section 158-2, A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Do you have a second? I'll second the motion. Was it second, Bob?
Yeah.
Bob seconds the motion. Okay, we're up for discussion. There's criteria in the bylaw. And, just because we have an old piece of wood in a house doesn't make that house historically significant. This may be two houses that were, put together. But generally, within the bylaw, it just doesn't meet the criteria, and I think it's a slippery slope to go there. Yes, Nancy?
The bylaw also talks about association with our town and public figures, and we have not done a narrative history of this house, so we cannot definitively say.
Well, that's because it's
And the
no
Lenos-
Form B.
Right, but I'm just saying, you cannot say that it does not have any of that significance when it hasn't been done.
Well, the
Just a
process
point I
that we
wanted to make.
use is we hire a preservation consultant to do that work, and it was determined that.
He
we
has
would
not done
do
the
it.
research because he looked at the house from the exterior.
That's correct.
From an architectural perspective. I'm just saying,
Okay,
it's just a point to make that the bylaw does not just talk about architectural significance, it talks about other significance, and that has not been researched.
that's correct, absolutely, because we don't do that. To do that kind of research on every home in Chatham, which is more than 50 years old, would be a tremendous expense. God bless us if we do that. So having said that, anyone else wish to speak before we do a vote? No? All right, we'll take a roll call on the motion that the property in question is not historically significant. Mr. Lear?
Yes.
Nancy?
No.
Sagan? No? No. Sorry. Stephanie?
No,
Robert?
Yes.
Janet? Sagan?
No.
Robert Wilson?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So we have 4 yeses and 3 nos. So thank you very much.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
proceed. All right, we will then proceed to the next application, which is 45 School Street.
No,
We're going to do 10 Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
I'm sorry?
10 Kingsbury.
Oh, 10 Kingsbury, sorry. I'm reading my own agenda, sorry, but thank you very much, Mr. Litchfield and Christina, to keep the old guy on the path. All right, 10 Kingsbury Way, which is another street that I passed 1,000 times and never really knew the name or the fact that behind all of that, there's a charming neighborhood. Again, this property, there is no Form B on the property. It is not located in the National Register. It is no on our list of survey and has not been before the commission before us. This is another elderly house. It was 86 years old. I say elderly because it's approaching my age, and I don't like to be considered old. And Mr. Litchfield, why don't you prepare us?
Thank you very much. Here on behalf of Colin Hines, who actually is now a year-round resident of Chatham, who could not be here today, but the Hines family would like to make some changes to this house. Again, you were down, most of you were able to get to the site yesterday. The addition on the Stage Harbor Road side is fairly modest, allowing for some internal improvements, a closet and bathroom and so forth on the first floor. That from the rear is somewhat more extensive, a couple of hundred of square feet, but again, fairly modest on a structure which, while chronologically within the jurisdiction of the commission, I'm not sure that it is associated with any historic person. It is not, insofar as I could tell, of any particular architectural style of which preservation is particularly warranted. If you find it to be historic, that's certainly within your authority, but I would ask that you not impose a demolition delay for the small revisions or additions to the house which the Hines family would like to incorporate. Be happy to respond to any questions.
Thank you very much. Similar situation, charming house. Does it meet an architectural style? Does it historically significant? In my view, it is not, but that's my view, and we'll start again. Peter, any comments?
None really. I don't find it historically significant, so.
Thank you. Sandy?
It is a charming, but not historically significant.
Thank you. Robert?
I agree. It's sort of an interesting put together, but if there's a historical core to it, I could not differentiate it.
Thank you very much. Nancy?
I agree. I didn't find,
Great.
wasn't able to find a historic center to the house.
I agree, not historically significant.
I agree.
Robert?
Considering you're just 213 square feet being added, and it is a charming house, but again, I don't think it falls in the historical bucket.
Thank you.
And I agree with Nancy and all the others on this.
Say again, Barb,
I
sorry.
agree with Nancy and all the others on this.
Great. Okay. All right. We seem to have a consensus on this one. So why don't we put a motion in effect?
Hello.
And
Oh, hello.
Public.
My name is Rebecca O'Neill, and I received this notice. I'm in the abutter at 14 Kingsbury.
I'm sorry. Slow down. I'm sorry.
I didn't see a hand.
All right.
Yeah.
Could you just stop? We didn't hear the beginning. Could you introduce yourself? It's appropriate at this particular point for some comment on the motion, but just to let you know, it looks like we have a motion potentially for being non-historically significant. But go ahead, please. I'm sorry, ma'am. Introduce yourself.
That's okay. Yes, of course. Yes, I didn't realize this. First of all, my name is Roberta O'Neill. I own the property next door at 14 Kingsbury Way,
Thank you.
along with my two sisters. And I didn't realize this meeting was in regards to whether the building is historically significant or not. But I guess I was interested in the sense that our house was built, I believe, around the same time. So I was just curious if ours would ever be historically significant as well, but that's another issue. Obviously, we don't have any intention of doing any modifications. But what 14 Kingsbury does have on the property at 10 Kingsbury is a utility easement. And so our utility lines run through the backyard at 10 Kingsbury to their driveway and then out to the street. For some reason, many years ago, I guess we never were deeded a nub or whatever, and we have always been tied in with the sewer line since we own the property. So I just wanted to bring that awareness. I know it's on the deed, but our utility lines do run through the property, and then just that I'm literally right next door, so I was just curious about these improvements.
Well, thank you very much. I think, just generally, your first comment relative to, it's the process we go through to determine whether a particular house is historically significant. And if we find it is not historically significant according to our criteria in the bylaw, we don't impose any kind of a delay, and the applicant is allowed to proceed to the building department and whatever changes that they're proposing to make. As part of that, your comment relative to the access in the street, that's really outside our purview. And if you have some questions, I think it's best the building department, or I don't believe you're going to be going to zoning for this, Mr. Oh, you are. So they are going to zoning, the Zoning Board of Appeals, so you could contact the owner or the attorney for the owner if you have any comments, and that's what I would suggest. Thank you very much. And again, charming neighborhood, and appreciate your comment. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. All right, we have a motion relative to not being historically significant. When we take that motion and see if anybody else has any comments. Or potentially a motion, sorry, Bob.
Right. I move the Chatham Historical Commission find that the building located at 10 Kingsbury Way is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in Section 158-2 A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
I'll second.
Okay, any more comments from the members of the commission? Any member of the public wish to speak for or against the application? Seeing none? Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Robert Stevens?
Yes.
Janet Tennyson?
Yes.
Robert Wilson?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, our next application is 26013. Can I ask the control room? Mark? Could you get me an earpiece? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I apologize for the slight delay. Okay, the next application is 26013, 45 School Street. This application, just hold on, folks. Let me get myself together. Unfortunately, a lot of paper. This application is going to be heard in accordance with the demolition delay bylaw, Chapter 158. Appreciate that. In addition, it will be heard under the Section 12E of the Cape Cod Commission Regional Policy Act regarding properties situated in the National Registered District pursuant to an application for substantial authorization or a contributing structure in the National Registered District. So that's the property, and that's the criteria. So just to give the member of the public, a little bit of background, The applicant, this property is in the National Register District, as we've indicated by the application. It is also a contributing structure in the National Register District, and as part of that property, there is a Form B, which we can talk about later, and it has not been before the commission before. This is a significantly older property, 114 years old, and again, contributing structure, which means there's been a lot of research and history done on this particular property. The applicant, at the request of the council, Mr. Litchfield, we did hold a preliminary meeting just for members of the public, so for just open and transparency. The applicant requested a brief meeting with the chair, and the process that we use is that the chair and the vice chair, Mr. Lear and I, no, we didn't. It was the chair and the clerk, Nancy Barr, who met with the applicant. It was the applicant, the owner, and the architect who's here. And we had some comments about the application, and which is, again, all off the record. So, not off the record, it's just nothing binding. And we did make some suggestions to the applicant relative to the location of not of the particular structure, the National Registry structure, but of the potential addition which would be put on this structure if the commission allows from that perspective that the historic property to be moved. I'm probably saying too much, and getting ahead of Mr. Litchfield, and so I will then, at this particular point, turn it over to him. But I just want to remind members of the commission, there's effectively two things happening here. This is an application to move an historic structure, not to demolish it per se, but under the criteria of the National Register District, a move of a contributing structure to the National Register District is effectively a demolition by their definition, if we concur, especially if we consider there have been any changes to the historical integrity or historical significance of the property. That's for us to determine. But so there's two things. We have some jurisdiction as it relates to the move of the property, of whether or not it was a demolition or not, and whether or not it's historically significantly, the loss of any of its historical significance. We have to consider the streetscape, but also there's the issue of the addition. Generally, we don't have any authority as it relates to what goes on to the property, but we can talk more about that. I just wanted to put that in perspective because it can get complicated. Sorry, Mr. Litchfield, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of the homeowners, Doug and Regina Hildreth. Doug is here to my right, and with me also is Bill Masiello, their architect. We appreciate the time of a couple of commission members and meeting with us very informally to discuss what is proposed, what might be feasible. We appreciate your guidance. The Hildreths purchased this property almost 15 years ago and have been, I think you can find by the fact that it has a preservation award, have been good stewards of it. It consists of a house built circa 1912, approximately 1912, by a gentleman a tailor from Boston by the name of Crosby. He apparently acquired the lot a couple of years before that, but built the house around 1912. It has been obviously very well maintained. The Hildreths would like to make some changes to the overall property, which consist first and foremost of preserving the Crosby house by moving it intact, with the exception of a more recent addition of a deck, which they propose to eliminate. It's not part of the original historic structure. But to essentially move it down to the lower lot further to the north on School Street. The Hildreths, as you discovered when you went out there, The Heldreths, like many houses in Chatham, are not getting any younger, and they have had, and may in the years to come, have increasing difficulty accessing the house. As you know, it is at the top of a rise. The driveway does not go up. A former owner used a golf cart to take groceries back and forth, which is not overly practical. While Doug happens to be a retired physician, he has had some treatments of his own in terms of knees and back and things like that. The chair is familiar with the latter. And they would like to have a place for one-floor living. The only way to do anything to the Crosby house to make it suitable for one-floor living would essentially destroy its historical significance. And they don't propose to do that. What they do propose is to pick it up and move it intact down to the lower lot. Flaking is not proposed. The architect, Bill Masiello, has done a considerable amount of work on its structural integrity and feels comfortable that, given that it's almost overbuilt, that the structure, the timbers and so forth will support moving it down to the lower lot. And what ultimately will result is the rendering that is on the screen or into the plan to my left and your right. They are identical. The small wing, which is now on the south side of the house, will be retained. The house itself will be reoriented to face School Street. When it was built, circa 1912, there weren't a lot of trees in the town of Chatham, anywhere, and it was presumably sited to provide a view of both the Mill Pond and of Chatham Harbor. That's no longer the case, but relocating it will put the front door on the School Street side and make it more appropriately visible and have it remain a part of the School Street streetscape. Sort of an odd, I read the correspondence that the commission has read, and I'll get to that later, but I have a somewhat different perspective on what the Heldreths are proposing and how one might react to it. I see it as preservation. I see it as important for the Old Village neighborhood to maintain the house, relocate it, reorient it, as Mr. Crosby might have done in modern days, but to preserve the cultural and historical importance of that. And in fact, recognizing, as the chair said, that one of the considerations that you have is the possibility of a discretionary referral to the Cape Cod Commission. And I know that you were in touch with the Cape Cod Commission last month, and I know you've seen the words that I'm about to quote from Liz Kellum, their planner. Quote, "Given that the project proposes relocation rather than fully or partially demolishing it, and because the building is not individually listed in the National Register and does not have a recorded significance with its current location on the lot, the Historical Commission could find that relocation is a preferable option to ensure preservation." The Heldreths want to continue to be good stewards of the property. They would like their family and generations to come to continue on in the neighborhood, with a one-story house to be built at 45 and this structure to be moved to the north. And in thinking about the Old Village, something with which several of you are familiar, the National Register document, the original filing with for the National Register from 20-odd years ago, quotes my late friend Claire Baisley, who said that the Old Village was in many ways a movable feast. Benjamin Mallow's house was moved across the street from where it is now. A number of houses in the Old Village have been moved. And given the nature of Cape Codders, moving houses was entirely typical of how properties were maintained and preserved, thank you, to meet the needs of the families who were owners. We're not proposing to demolish it. We're not proposing, certainly not demolition by neglect, and we're not proposing anything that is not in keeping with the old village neighborhood. Might be useful, Mr. Chairman, if I could, to defer to Bill to talk about exactly what is proposed in the relocation.
Appreciate it. Just briefly introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, my name is Bill Masiello. I'm the architect that was hired by the Hildreths to assist
you.
them with this property. Thank you, members of the commission. I'll go over here and have a little discussion about what we're intending to
There's an
do.
electronic pointer, which is good. So you need to stay near the microphone.
Okay, so
Is the electronic
I don't think
pointer working?
I don't think the pointer is going to work as well then. Okay. So as you can see in this image here, what we had done is, this is the proposed relocation of the house. That entrance porch is facing the opposite side of School Street. The intention is to relocate the house and put that in a more prominent location in keeping with the rest of the facades along School Street. Now this house can relate to an entranceway that's appropriate to what its original intention was as an entrance. Of course, it was an entrance with a view, and as Bill had mentioned, the view is no longer there. It's some pretty dense vegetation in the back, and that has disappeared. So with this reorientation, we're keeping the house completely intact. It'll be on a new foundation. There is a smaller garage, which is not on the register. It's less than 75 years old. We would be moving that slightly so we could put this house near, or the garage near that house on that property. But the intent is to put the house somewhat in line with the houses that are next door to it on the left. And as you can see in this image, we have the old stone pillar gates, which would be used as access for this house, as the driveway. And anyway, that was the intent for this. Any questions about the relocation?
Well, why don't you just continue through, unless,
Okay.
where are you going to go next with it? Are you going to stay on this, on the relocation?
Well, how do I do this?
Insofar, let me try to.
It's the top red button.
Oh, it's the red button, okay. Oh, okay, it's a pointer. Okay, could we move to another slide? I don't know if I can advance that.
Mark, could you lower the lights a bit or increase the intensity?
Okay, so,
I think that's going to help. Thank you very much.
thank you. So this is currently 45 School Street. Right now, there's an embankment that's on the side of the property right here, and on top of it, there's a row of privet hedges. The intention was to build this house in the current location of the Crosby house, but push it back away from the street slightly.
Let me clarify one thing with you.
Okay.
What we're looking at, just to make it clear, what we're looking at is the proposed new home in the location of the existing house, and the existing outline of the house is shown by that red outline. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
So that's the current placement of
Right.
Crosby house right now, and the proposed house in juxtaposition to it on the opposite side.
Right.
So it goes slightly away from the street a bit. We're intending to keep the plateau that's here. We did have a proposal to make this a little bit safer by taking the front embankment down slightly and then putting a small stone retaining wall along the side of the property, and then putting some hedges back or hydrangeas. Again, it's just a proposal to address this. There are some maintenance issues, ongoing maintenance issues with this embankment that's here, that the owner has struggled with. And there's also, because it's on an opposing curve, any walkers that are along that side of the property, it's pretty unsafe. If we were able to just take that grade and just drop it slightly along the edge of the property, it would make it a lot safer in case somebody had to get out of the way for an emergency vehicle, or perhaps somebody was driving erratically, looking at texts, whatever the situation that could be hazardous would be. But there is no way to get out of a vehicle's way if you're walking along this area right now. So anyway, it's just a proposal. Of course, the existing privet hedges that are there have been incredibly well maintained. They were put in by the Hildreth some years ago. And the new entry drive would be on the right-hand side of the property, and it would come in a turn and go up onto a plateau right here, so they could have full access to the garage and the house. Again, the house is designed to be one-level living primarily, with a few rooms upstairs, but they're not the primary part of the house on the second floor. The primary residential piece that the Hildreths would be using every day would be a master suite on the first floor with appropriate sized bathrooms, oversized doorways, make it much more comfortable for living. Right now, the existing house is pretty challenging for that because of the elevation that it's set at, with the main entrance being located on the opposite side. It's up at a higher elevation. It would be very, very challenging to go inside that house and try to renovate it and make it more accommodating. As we age, we always have more challenges, and you never know what situation is ahead of us. So they're trying to be proactive. They love this property. They'd like to build and live in that spot. And their idea of moving the house, I think it's a challenge. It's expensive, but they do want to preserve it by relocating it.
Okay?
It might be observed in passing that there are people in this world who would purchase this property and tear the house down. I'm not saying they'd paint it chartreuse like some people in the old village have done.
It took
And
10
I
years,
don't
but
think,
it's finally changing.
I don't think Doug or Regina have a palette of that sort. But my sense is that while there can often be negative reactions, that a reasoned analysis of what is proposed, spending the time and the money and the energy to preserve this house rather than tearing it down, is the sort of thing that might warrant commendation rather than approbation. The old village changed. It's changed for years. I don't remember when there was an ice cream shop next to the parking lot at the Coast Guard station or the lights, but the Pennypacker house was an ice cream shop. I don't remember when what was Port Fortune was a gas station, but it was. The old village has changed many times. It will continue to change. Fortunately, it has your guidance. It has the support of the rules and regulations of the National Registration, and it has the overview of the Old Village Association. But I think this sort of a proposal is entirely something which should be entirely respected rather than criticized merely because it is a change.
Okay, thank you. What I would like to do is, as I think I began in the beginning, there's two elements here. And let's go back to the proposal where we have the majority of our jurisdiction, and that is the relocation of the home, and talk about that from consideration. And I think you said a few things, but I want to make it clear within the record. When I said a few things were said at the site visit, but I'd like to, just to make it part of the record, if we say, and discuss that. Because if the commission agrees to allow this home to be relocated, and we often have allowed homes to be relocated in order to save them. We do it often. We get a property where someone wants to build a monster house on it, and there's an historic property, and if we're lucky enough that the property is big enough, we ask them, can you move it to that corner of the property and convert it to a guest house? Or in one case, unfortunately, on Shore Road, it's being converted to garage. But at least it's there, the essence of the historic structure, we're there. And that's kind of what we're talking about. So I wanted just to, again, for conversation within the record, it was a conversation yesterday that it is your intention to pick it up and move it, but not flake it, remove the deck, which was a more modern deck, and obviously, because it's more modern deck, also because structurally, it's not really part of the house, and it could easily create problems. And you're going to move it to the back of that, you're going to take it down the back of the property and move it over. At least that's the current proposal. And I guess what we did have in the conversation is certainly assurances that if we do allow this, that, there's enough engineering work to be done, and of course, the building inspector will be involved in that, that we assure that we're not going to lose it. If we move it, we won't lose it. But I just want to quote, as you did before, on some of the information from the Cape Cod Commission, in determining whether it's a substantial authorization or not, I'm talking about the move of the house. The Historical Commission should clarify from the applicant regarding the particulars of the relocation to assure that the building will remain intact and its historic details preserved. If the commission does have enough information to determine that the building will be fully preserved, the relocation may be considered a substantial authorization, and in that case, would be referred to us. So part of our determination could be, if we determine, similar, I'm not giving Mr. Litchfield's comments, but if we determine this is a way to save the house, we want to ensure that the house is going to be fully preserved. Now, there is an issue, by the way, some have brought up, well, yes, you're going to fully preserve it, but you're going to turn it around. And it's not going to be in the existing location. And that, to some people, is a concern, that it's no longer the streetscape of what is there now. And how do we address that? And that's something that we need to address. Yes, Bill, I'm
If
sorry.
I could respond to that,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, you've been to the house. Those of you who went out to the School Street side of the house saw the current front elevation, which is much less attractive than the front of the house. And I think that for the benefit of the neighborhood, having the front facade facing the School Street is sensible. Now, we know that, 200 years ago, houses were faced south to maximize warmth in the winter. That's not the case with this house. It was built long after that, when there was some degree of central heating. But to me, and to our architect, I think that's a much better impact on the streetscape than having the back of the house facing the road. As for the willingness of the applicant, the commitment of the applicant to move it rather than flake it or otherwise, yes, that is. And if there are issues which make it impossible, obviously we will consult with the building department and with this commission for any change. But the intent is to pick up what is there and move it downhill. I'm not an engineer. I haven't a clue as to how that is going to be done. I will also say, for the benefit of the public and the neighbors, that the Heldreths, aside from being good stewards of the physical structure or of the man-made structure, are also very, very much aware of the importance of the trees. One of which may be the single best example around of its species. So we're going to do everything we can to preserve all of those trees, and if there's a limb that has to be moved or cut, we will do our best to minimize that, but the trees are going to be preserved.
Thank you. Okay, what I'd like to do at this particular point is, proceed within the commission, but let's try to proceed, looking at the relocation of the house, okay? And then we can come back to address the second issue, but why don't we do the first one first? But why don't we start? We'll start down there. Robert, you have questions or comments or
Yeah,
thoughts?
I have some comments about the whole project, which is a package of two houses.
Yes.
Which I'll shelve those and just answer.
Yeah, let's do that, because it's going to get confusing
Yeah.
within ourselves.
I think if this were just moving the house and preserving it as they're doing, and facing the street, which gives everyone a nice view, I don't have a huge problem.
Okay.
But it isn't just that, so I'll get to
Yeah.
that.
Robert?
I'd like to hear my colleagues. I'm not experienced in the new village, or in the old village, so I'd like to hear more what they have to say.
Okay. Steph?
I don't know if this is the time for this question, but was there any consideration of building the new house on the property that you want to move this to?
Yeah, the Haldreths have been working on this project for years. I have a site plan that was started in 2022, and Bill can perhaps respond to that. But one of the concerns that we have, or one of the goals that we have, is to have some degree of view of the mill pond. Moreover, there has recently been a lot of change at the property behind the house, which is a Main Street property, so that the Haldreths now look at, and would look at from the new location, look at what's basically a three-house parking lot. They didn't make those changes, some others did. So their preference is to have the, I don't want to call it the retirement home, we'll call it Doug's retirement home, not Regina's, but to have the new house located at 45 School Street. But it has been considered, and Bill, if you want to comment more on that.
Did you say a treehouse parking lot?
A parking lot which serves three houses, correct? Yes.
Three houses. I thought he said treehouse.
It's in the northeast corner. It was
thought you said-
cleared.
I got
It's pretty wide open. There's quite a few cars there in the summertime. So the reason why they wanted to have the house located, the newer home located where it is because it's the property where they live now. They want to stay there. They love the property. They love that property. They also like the house that they're in. They want to preserve it. So their idea was, well, it's really hard to renovate this house because of the size of the footprint and the way it's configured, and trying to, have something for access for vehicles. Right now, for them to get a package delivered, they actually have to drive up on the lawn and drop something off at the front door. There's no access for them to get up to that upper level where they're at right now, and they're having challenges with it, and it's difficult. So I'm sure people can understand that. Once they make that journey up to the top, then what do? Then you're confronted with, a primary suite that's on the second floor. You've got some spaces down on the first floor with really narrow openings. It's very, very difficult to renovate that and make that work as something that would be easier to live in for a longer period of time. So by putting a new home there, which would, of course, address any concerns people would have about aesthetics and facades and materials. It needs to be something that's tasteful and people can appreciate on the commission, of course. Right now, that house is not designed, but this is just a concept for the house. So,
Which house is not this?
this would be the proposed house on the property at 45 School Street, where the Crosby house is currently.
You're talking about,
Oh, so if you go back to the site plan, if you don't mind, just going back one slide.
this house is not designed?
It's partially designed. We have a layout for it, but it's not finalized. We stopped. That's why we wanted to come talk with
So
you.
what are we looking at if it's not designed?
Preliminary.
So what you're looking at is a schematic. It's a schematic level image of the house. It's a schematic floor plan. It's a schematic site plan. We don't have the floor plans in here because we weren't ready to present those to anybody. And right now, that's part of this discussion.
And as the chair said, the issue on which you're concentrating right now
I
is the
understand.
relocation of the historic structure.
Yeah, I know, it just was.
And to further what Bill said a little bit, any renovations to add a first floor master bedroom would result in loss of historic material, would impact a house which is listed. So we think that relocating and preserving intact is more appropriate than trying to expand the existing house, which has been unchanged for 115 years.
I don't think anybody is going to argue that point, but as Stephanie said, why not build the new house on the open property?
On the open property.
Because, what we're going to be dealing with here, when you look at the comments, is not just the loss of the, everybody, I think we're all in violent agreement, as the expression goes. If this house were to be demolished, well, we won't, let's not demolish it, let's just move it. But the concern is more so, and I'm speaking for the other members of the commission, I apologize for that, because it's obvious. Well, we're not going to demolish it, we're going to move it, and we're going to save it. That's wonderful, we give you an award for that. But the question is, what are we doing to the old village in terms of the streetscape? That's really I love the expression, the elephant in the room, which we haven't even got to it yet. But that's.
Could Dr. Heldreth respond, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, thank you very much for all your help. We own those 3 lots. They're 3 separate deeded lots. And as owners of the lots, we obviously want to live on the lot that gives us the best views, the best feeling of where we're at. We're up on the hill. We don't necessarily want to live at the bottom of the hill looking up at the other structures. And so our primary residence, we really want it to be on those 3 properties where it feels best to us. We're going to expend a lot of money here preserving properties. We're going to spend a lot of money building a new house, which we're open to design suggestions. That's not something that's
Well, we
written in stone.
did make some design suggestions at that preliminary meeting, and you didn't do that.
Well, we're not trying to spend a lot of money on architectural plans if we're going to get denied and have.
Doesn't work for
18
free,
months.
yeah.
So we're just trying to give you a schematic and
Okay,
concept.
all right.
We're open to
Well, that's fine.
suggestions about that.
And I appreciate the fact that this is, what we have here is a dialogue,
Right.
that we're not looking for a decision.
Correct.
Because in my own mind, I'll be very candid with you, and there's a lot of, we're not sure. This is a tough one. This is not an easy one. It's not, from that point of view, because what you're asking us to do, and we haven't even gotten to the public comment and the people and what they're concerned about. And what they're concerned about is the streetscape of the old village.
Right.
I think everybody recognizes, and we have the National Register District issue and the Cape Cod Commission as our backstop here, refer it to the Cape, and I'll be honest, very candid with you. If we refer this to the Cape Cod Commission, it'll be a slam dunk, no problem, because their view is going to be the house, that you're saving the house, that you have an historic property and you're saving it. They're probably not as concerned as we are, who live here, about the streetscape of the old village. And that's a little bit of a difference. And by the way, just for the National Register District, the Cape Cod Commission makes it very clear to me, please don't send it to us. Not that you can't, but try to work it out locally. And that's what we're trying to do. And I appreciate the fact that, what you're just saying here, that this is a conversation. And I think we should continue the conversation, because we just really started. This is not going to be, I'd love to see it. Well, we got a decision, let's approve it. But unfortunately, it's angsting. This is giving people a lot of agita. So, Janet, I'm going to jump to you to proceed. Let's just get some
Okay.
initial comments, if you don't mind, just see where people are going.
Okay.
Yes, Janet.
So I would, obviously, we kind of all agree to be the best, if you're going to do this, best solution would be to build the new property, the new house on the vacant lot, and not ruin change what's there now, which is, and I know that changes like this have been made around town, but I think this is different because it's in the National Historic Register District. It is kind of the anchor of the old village. I mean, when you come in, and there it is up on top of the hill, and it just, I think it'll be detrimental to the neighborhood, frankly, and fine, we save it, we turn it around, it's not going to be the same. I think it's basically a demolition, and it's going to look like a demolition.
Yes, Nancy.
I think that moving the house and preserving it is fabulous in isolation. But we are in an old village, National Register District, and in fact, the Cape Cod Commission does explicitly talk about alterations that should be considered substantial alteration. And one of the bullet points, and this is what's stumbling when you go back and you look at what is our purview in terms of regulations. And I'll read it, it's very short. Relocation of a historic building if the building has not been previously moved and it will change important relationships to other historic properties or the surrounding district. Establish street setback patterns and orientation to landscape commons or to resource areas should be preserved. So that's a very explicit Cape Cod Commission guidance regarding what we should be considered substantial alteration. So I don't believe the move itself is a detrimental, in fact, like you said, it should get an award to save the structure, and we are all about saving, intact historic structures, especially in the district. However, because it's in a district, we are also, according to guidance from all the laws, from what I know, and from the Cape Cod Commission itself, need to consider the streetscape and the relationship of the structure to the surrounding area. And I agree with my colleagues who've said that it's on top of a hill, it has a relationship to the neighborhood that is very visible, even if you can't see it all because the hedge has grown up, it's there. And when it moves down, it will lose its prominence. So the historic house loses the prominence that it currently has, and a new construction house takes over that prominence. I totally understand why you want to live in a house on top of that hill and why you want a new house and you want it to be on one story. That is not in question. But looking at what our job is, I struggle with the fact that in spite of the letter we have from the Cape Cod Commission, the guidance they have given us tells us that we need to consider exactly what this is doing as a substantial alteration. So that's where I'm at.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, looking at your rules and regulations as to how they apply to the Cape Cod Commission, you have charged yourselves with taking into consideration the extent to which the proposed project preserves or destroys significant amounts of historical materials.
Yes.
The answer here, 0. The last referral you made to the Cape Cod Commission involved a proposed demolition of 988 square feet of a 2,100 square foot house, nearly 50%. Here, 0%.
Okay.
The regulations go on to speak correctly about whether the proposed project preserves the structure's historic character, which it does, and protects the structure's historical significance rather than overwhelming the historic structure or site. No issues there. And then again, as Nancy indicated, Ms. Barr indicated, whether or not the proposed project includes the removal or alteration of a defining landform. I think you can find that it doesn't.
Okay, I hear you. Let's proceed, or we're never going to get done with this. I would like to continue getting initial comments from folks. Robert, do you want to jump in now? Or,
Sure.
Okay, I apologize. But again, I'm looking for just the top level, we didn't get into the
High
details
level,
yet.
10,000 feet? Okay.
Yeah, 10,000 feet, or maybe 8.
I want to applaud you for trying to save this house. It's a gorgeous house. I had never actually seen it in the way I saw it yesterday. I have to agree with my colleagues in some ways because it's going to lose prominence. There isn't any house that you could build on that hill that the neighbors are going to like. There's a lot of opinions on this, but I can't think of anything that you could build in that location that would be the same as what you already have.
Okay.
And so in looking at it, my first thought was, why not build a nice circular drive up to what is now the front of the existing old house, and it would solve a lot of those problems. You have 3 lots. You obviously have some rights, and I'm just going to say that's my 10,000-foot
Okay.
view.
Yeah. Bob?
I have views that are similar to much of what has been said. I think what is being lost here is how, as Mr. Stevens just said, that the prominence of this structure and how it sets out. It's listed in the Form B as is correct, on a sharp curve on a hill overlooking the water in both directions. And when you come down School Street, either way, it juts out in front of you so it's such that you have to walk around it, and it's very different. And it is, according to the plan, going to be made a subordinate structure on that property. And I think that is a significant thing in the streetscape. And just to provide some statistics from the plans on that, the current location is about 24 feet from the street, and the foundation is elevation 45, all right? It's going to be moved down the hill to elevation 32 feet and be about 40 feet from the street. So there's a major change there in terms of where it, not only where it sits, but the height and the closeness of that, the existing house to the road and the proposed house set back where a garage is now. So that Robert mentioned prominence, I think that's a key factor here. And just in passing, it was said that the garage is not on the register. It is a contributing structure in the National Register District. The Cape Cod Commission letter says that it's not individually listed on the National Register. It's a contributing structure on the National Register. Does not have recorded significance with its current location. The Form B prominently mentions what I just did, on a sharp curve on a hill overlooking the water. So those, whatever they're thinking, I doubt they came out and looked at it, but they're wrong in terms of what their starting basis is there. And just one final point at this stage. Turning the house 180 degrees so the proper front will be on the street. I don't know who decided what proper was. Was it the architect? They said Mr. Crosby made a mistake when he cited the house where he did. There's a short answer for that. But what's important is what house was listed on the National Register, not somebody thinks what is proper or what somebody was thinking in 1912. That portico is not facing the street. That's the way it is. That's what's historic. So you're changing it because you don't like it. That's too bad. Final point, I agree that you can get everything that Mr. Litchfield wanted, it said the clients wanted, by building a house down the street. You maintain your old house, you can use it for whatever you want. You've got your living quarters, you don't like the view of the driveway. That's what arborvitae are for.
Okay. Sandy? Go ahead, Sandy. Let's proceed with the members first.
I'm going to abstain from this discussion. I won't be here to see it through.
That's really sneaky. I'm going to abstain too. I don't want to make a decision. No, I'm sorry. By the way, I'm going to interrupt the proceedings here. This happens to be Sandy Porter's last day as a member of the Chatham Historical Commission. I met Sandy when she had Christina's job, and that was in 1911. Anyway, and so she has been around the block as far as the Historical Commission is concerned. And she left the town as their administrator, or whatever they call you these days, and she joined the commission. So she went to the other side, and she has been a good friend and a strong member of the Historical Commission. She's always been there. And every time Sandy wanted to say, oh, I don't want to be reappointed, I would say, oh, please, Sandy, and she's here. And, well, thank you very much. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Good. I was going to ask to respond to Mr. Lear, but could...
Let me let Peter finish, and we can reach a point, because I think we're going to adjourn. Go ahead.
I think it's an admirable proposal for the property owner, and obviously a big, heavy lift financially. I think the streetscape of the new house and the facade would have to be, considerably
what?
Considerably historical looking to get it passed. That'd be what I would say. So
You're talking about the new house?
the new house, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's hit the nail on the head, Mr. Litchfield. I think, if we take a vote right now, it's not going to be the vote we want, that anybody wants. I certainly don't want, 18-month demolition delay and referral to the Cape Cod Commission. That's unacceptable. We shouldn't do that, in my opinion. I think we need to find, you are from, notwithstanding, the comments from the public yet, about don't do anything. I think something is going to happen here, and should happen. And we're not, I don't think we could just ignore that. But before we do that, could you please go back to the view of that, what you're proposing on the screen? Oh, I'm talking to the wrong person. The boss here. No, what's proposed? It's, oh, that's it. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. Okay. When we met briefly with myself and Nancy in the preliminary review, and possibly even in your other informal meetings, which trust me, I really appreciate the fact that we were talking before we're here. And there were comments about, the garage being right in front and right in your face. And maybe it should be someplace else on the property, to try and lessen the impact of the change. And I would hope that, I'm sorry, I forget your first name, sir. Right, looking for a dialogue, and I think you're hearing the dialogue, and we really don't want this thing to change. All right, that's fine. That's the initial reaction. But hopefully we can find a way to find some kind of a compromise where, in my opinion, that there is some change that's allowed, because I think what you're doing to save the structure is important. Yes, you could just put in the recommendation to demolish it, but by the way, Mr. Litchfield, if we refer that to the Cape Cod Commission, they're not going to allow you to demolish it. They can say no. At least I believe that's the case, and you don't want that, okay? And you don't want to demolish it. So we're trying to find a way to save it. Yeah, you could make a lot of changes to the house to make it the way you want it, to make it more livable, but maybe the way to make it more livable is to move it, okay? And I would hope that we could find some kind of compromise in that particular.
Dr. Hildreth, I think, wanted to respond to something
Yes, go ahead,
earlier.
surely.
If we could.
Robert, just hold on.
Thank you. Just a couple comments. We're more than willing to bring that house closer to the street. We're more than willing to change whatever that front facade looks like on the street. We're more than willing to make it taller. It sounds like you want it higher, not lower. I mean, all of those things can be worked out. So, but I think we're losing a little bit of the whole project here, and that is, we have the benefit of owning 3 separate lots. They happen to be next to each other. But that should not be something that's part of the decision of what we do with the house up north. Because we could potentially just sell that lot down there. I mean, we don't have to have that lot as part of the idea. We could come to you with the idea that here's our house on 45 School. We can't live in it. We want to make renovations. We want to make changes. And I think that would be a difficult process for us to live in and for you all to decide that it's appropriate. But we can't live in the house that's there currently. We have to do something. So we have the benefit of having that lot below, and because we have the lot below, we want to be able to preserve this house. But I don't think we should look at the 2 lots as that's our solution, just to build something down there. That's not our house. I mean, that's our lot. It's not our house down there, and we can do whatever we want with that lot. I think in the future, we're trying to do with that lot what makes sense for the preservation of the house on the hill above. But the hill above, we're happy to make concessions and things that make it look good.
Okay. Are you agreeable then if we summarize this at this particular point and go back?
Yeah.
I heard you guys. And go back and take another look, schematically. I know I don't have to spend a lot of money. This guy's expensive. Of something different or what?
Well, not to speak over my client, and we haven't talked about what possibilities might be. If the commission is not inclined to make a decision today, there's one difficulty because you don't meet again, I don't believe, until the middle of July, and you only have 1 meeting in July.
Yes.
If you see fit at a future date to impose a demolition delay, I would request that if it were 18 months, it be 18 months from June 16.
I can't.
Well, I can't commit to anything either.
Well, I can't, now, wait a second, Mr. Litchfield. Bill, I can't commit to how the commission's going to vote. You mean, you want me to take a vote that if we impose a demolition delay, it's going to start? I could do that, but, we're talking 2 months. If we do that, even if we don't, who says we're going to do it?
No, I
If you
didn't
come back,
say- I
if you
didn't
come
say
back
that-
with something that's appropriate, that we say, oh, it's wonderful.
I was simply saying that if you do in the future today, in the future impose a demolition delay, in order not to delay the client further, the homeowners further, it would strike me as equitable to date that 18 months from today. That's all I was asking.
We refer to my consigliere.
If in July you would decide to impose a demolition delay, you could impose it for 17 months, is all I'm saying.
So what Bill just said, you would have to, instead of imposing an 18-month demolition delay, you would do a 17-month demolition delay.
Yeah.
But you can't backdate the determination. You have to make the determination and, yeah.
I agree with Christina, obviously, but, yeah, we can do it that way.
We could
as far as
also
I'm
impose a
concerned.
2-month delay. I mean, come on.
Well, the total delay from this date will be 18 months.
That no delay
However we
be more
word it.
than 18 months from today is all I was asking.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That is up to the commission, yes. If you impose an 18-month demolition delay in July, it's 18 months from July 14th. Unless you impose a 17-month.
Unless we impose a less than 18 months.
Correct.
Is that what you're asking, Bill? Or maybe I'm misinterpreting.
It's really very simple, I think, that no delay would be beyond December 15th, 2027, which is 18 months from today.
I can say, yes, we'd consider it. I can't commit the commission unless I take a vote. I hear you. Do you understand? Do you want me to take a vote?
He wants to talk.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have
Related to what we're talking about here, second? Yes, go ahead.
I want you to settle what you're talking about first.
Yes, go ahead. Oh, I don't know if we'll ever settle it. Okay, we're going to go quickly because we're going to adjourn this meeting, and I would ask the applicant who's coming up next, can I impose upon you to allow us to adjourn because we're not going to have time to do a full hearing of your applicant. I'm going to ask you to delay it till our June 14th meeting. Sorry.
In July.
July 14th. Yeah, I know, we're not going to be finished. I'm asking the applicant. We're not going to get done. So I'm going to just end the meeting at noon time. Go ahead,
Well,
Bob.
thanks very much for giving me just a few minutes.
Yes,
Can you hear me okay?
yes, I can.
Yeah. It's really the package of the two buildings on the streetscape
Yes.
that gets my attention. It's not the single building being moved, which I think is fantastic.
Well, effectively, that is.
If I can just finish.
Yeah.
Okay. The package really makes a huge impact on the neighborhood as you drive in. You see one building and then another one. You can't see 45 right now. It's a big hedge. And it's a very graceful lawn with a small garage right now. It's really graceful, evoking a lifestyle with the past right now. And that's gone. And so what would be built makes it almost not recognizable. You'd go there and you'd say, where am I? I went away on vacation, I came back. It's not recognizable. So based on that, I'm saying my opinion really is to urge the applicant to
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
try to seek a solution that has a lower impact.
Say again?
A solution that has a lower impact
Of the new addition.
on the historical, on the streetscape.
One at a time. You can't talk out, Janet, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
The package of two buildings is, to me, excessive. And I object to the appearance of it in terms of changing the entire character as you move in.
So you're saying you don't want the building moved?
I'm saying go back and consider the whole package and come up with something lower impact.
On the new building or
Like
on the?
Robert's suggesting a
Janet,
driveway.
On the new building?
Others have suggested building on the existing site, a one-story house.
Okay,
There's various solutions, lower impact.
all right, I hear you.
Thanks. Okay.
What is being said is what I was trying to do, discussion I was trying to have a couple of minutes ago, was that if we consider the fact of the relocation of the building, if we agree that we would, I'm going to take a straw vote right now, not think, do we agree that we could allow the relocation of the historic building to the other side, to the other part of the property, independent of what is being added to the property on the new? So how do we consider, it's just a straw vote, do you feel that you could, if there is a reasonable, there's something different happens to the property in terms of the streetscape, that we could allow the relocation of the building from one side of the property to the other? And that's just a straw vote. Robert? It's a straw vote. That's Robert.
Yeah, I would go for that, yeah.
Okay. Robert, too?
Probably not.
Probably not?
Probably not.
No.
Two? Janet?
No, but we have a lot of other
Thank you.
people to hear from.
Just a no, because we'll never get through this. Yes or no?
I don't know really what you're asking me. I can't consider the moving of the building in
Would you agree to move the
isolation.
building to the other side of the property?
I'm not going to consider that in
Okay,
isolation.
fine. Abstain. Robert?
Given what I said a few minutes ago, I don't think I can consider that either, but.
Okay. Sandy? Abstaining? Peter?
I'd consider it.
Say again?
I would consider it.
You consider it. So we got about 3 votes yes, 4 no, which means a negative vote relative to relocating the building and potentially referral to the Cape Cod Commission. So you see where people are going. Now,
Frank, I'm sorry. That's not what my vote said.
you didn't vote. You abstained. You said you didn't understand it. I
No,
accept that.
I did not, okay.
We had a majority of the commission members just said they would not consider it moving it on the property. I just want the applicant to get a sense of where the commission is going. This is a complicated situation, so just be careful. You can't do everything at once. Bill, any response to that?
Well, if that is the case, then the commission could vote to impose an 18-month delay, and we wouldn't lose any time. What I think may be missed by the negativism or by the negative votes was the preface to the question, or maybe the second half of the question, was that if the commission were happier with what is proposed to be built on top of the hill, and I would never say is subsuming the role as a design review board, but if in fact that happened, perhaps some of the no votes might be inclined to be yes votes, and they would allow.
I would hardly agree, and that's what I was attempting
Well, I don't
to
think
do.
your colleagues would.
Yeah. I don't know.
In which case, it's kind of been a waste of time.
Yeah, well, it is in some ways, but I was hoping that if you were to back off and provide us with a different addition up top and let us consider that on July 4th, maybe by then some votes might take a look at it.
Well, they've said that they wouldn't consider it.
I know.
I'm frankly appalled. I've been around for a few weeks, and I've never heard that from a board,
That's what?
that we will not consider revised plans.
No, I think that's not what you heard. I think what you heard, I tried to isolate.
That's what I said, and
I know that's what you said, Bill, but I just asked the question, would you consider relocating the building, and that was a negative no. So if you want to proceed, then let's proceed. At this particular juncture.
It's not up to me, Mr. Chairman, it's up to your commission.
Yeah, I understand. No, I had asked you if you would ask you if you would adjourn and take a look at it, and, sir, yes?
If they are deciding.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
I'm saying if they are of the opinion that they would not be in favor of relocation, then bringing to you another plan for the top of the hill really doesn't do me any good.
Well, let me do it one more time to clarify
I have to look at my
it.
other options as to what I can do with the property rather than preserve it,
Okay.
which is not necessarily a good decision for anybody.
Nancy, do you understand what the applicant is asking at this time? Wish you had comment.
I
Good
do
night.
understand what the applicant is asking.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
So you would consider it if in fact,
I would consider any proposal that's put before us. I'm just saying I'm not going to vote yea or nay about this plan without seeing a full plan, and I felt like that's what you were asking
no,
me
no,
to
that's
do.
not what I was asking. What I was asking was, there are some members seem to say they never would consider a relocation of the building in any.
No, no.
No. What-
Second?
I'm open to seeing the whole package.
Right.
And I said, based on what I know so far, I'd probably say no. But I don't want to see the house moved. I don't want to see it demolished.
I agree.
And sometimes we just have to bend a bit. I'm more concerned with the people in the old village. I mean, if you took a popularity vote on
it
what's
would be
about
no.
to happen here,
No, excuse me, Robert, no matter what we do today, tomorrow, or June 14th, it's never going to be accepted.
That's not true.
We can't find it.
it
It's
is.
impossible. It's impossible. It's like cutting the baby in half.
impossible.
To find a consensus among everybody. The consensus has to be among us, members of the commission. And that's where the consensus has to be. Robert, you're leaving. Yes, Nancy, go ahead.
It sounds to me like we all, maybe, I'm not sure about the applicant, but that we are looking for a continuance, that we are looking for
I
more
asked for it.
time.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so could we possibly have a motion for a continuance? Perhaps it wraps in what Bill was trying to
Yes, Nancy,
to
excuse me, but we
achieve?
already asked for that continuance, and right now, the answer to that was, for what? What do you want to do? And I think the comment from the attorney was that, I don't want to waste more time. Now, if has changed, yes, Steph.
Is
go.
I don't
correct?
think I understood it that way. I would be interested in hearing anything that they had to say.
Well, let me ask, you hear this conversation?
What Ms. Tennyson wants to speak, and then I'll respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Do-
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't we have to take everything into consideration, I think, right? And don't we have letters and
we're gonna
to
get
read
to that.
and people to hear from?
Yes.
And other,
We do that usually at the end, so we'll proceed.
you mean we do it
Janet?
after the vote?
Janet, the last time I checked, I was still running the meeting. Thank you very much. Okay. Bill?
Having heard Ms. Hamilton and Ms. Barr, I think they may have, it doesn't matter. I now understand from at least the majority of the commission, not from two members, and I'll speak about that separately, that the commission would be willing to consider the package if it is more satisfied with the house proposed to be built on the hill. And as Ms. Barr suggested, if the the commission would also be cognizant of the time factor, then yes, we could accept a continuance to the date, which I will, it's been bantied about back and forth, but I believe it's July 14, Bastille Day, would be the commission's
Bill, let's
next.
not negotiate. Come on. We're wasting a lot of time. Very simply, yes or no, do you agree to a continuance to reconsider the application? It's
Yes.
simple. We're going back and forth for no reason. The commission, I'm trying to get a consensus from them. I think if we do something different with the new house, it's possible you're going to get a positive response. It's possible. No guarantees. You want to take that risk or not? That's really very simple, Bill.
I said yes approximately 40 seconds ago.
Well, that's good. All right. Thank you very much. I think also, just personally, if you would consider the things we discussed in the preliminary meeting, we might have a better chance of finding some consensus. So, having said that, we're going to get a motion.
Well, we do need to read the letters that were submitted
Yes,
for
we
this
do.
meeting. Okay.
So we're going to get a motion to continue this application. But we're just going to read the two letters we have. Nancy, go ahead, you could do it.
Okay, this is a letter dated June 13th from Winnie Lear, President of the Old Village Association. Dear Commissioners, the Board of Directors of the Old Village Association represents property owners in Chatham's Old Village National Historic Register District, and many who care deeply about the Old Village, to preserve and protect the historic nature and architectural beauty and integrity of the area. We write to express our concerns regarding the plans to move the house and garage located at 45 School Street. We believe that the proposal constitutes an application for, quote, substantial alteration and requires a referral to the Cape Cod Commission. Substantial alteration is defined in Chapter 158, Section 8C of the Town Bylaw as one which jeopardizes a structure's individual eligibility for listing in the National Register of Historic Places or its status as a contributing structure in a National Register Historic District. The Cape Cod Commission has provided guidelines and examples of alterations that could fit this definition, including, quote, isolation of a property or alteration of its setting such that the historic character and integrity are no longer reflected in the site. Examples may include relocation of a structure from its original site, end quote. The application proposes to move the main house on the property, a contributing structure, and move it down the street and place it where a garage, also a contributing structure, is now located, and proposes to move the garage further back from the street and down a slope. The Macris Form B, which provided the basis for including the house in the NHRD, describes its setting as, quote, on a hill along a sharp curve in the road and a view of Mill Pond and Chatham Harbor, end quote, and its design as being of, quote, general Georgian persuasion. Due to the house's size and prominent placement on the top of a hill and on the inside of a curve overlooking School Street, the house is an imposing landmark when viewed from each street direction. It was obviously intended to stand out from neighboring dwellings and provide water views to the east and west. The proposed new location is lower down on the north slope of the hill and set further back from the street where it would not be readily visible from either direction. The garage would effectively be removed from the landscape. The applicant has attempted to explain the change by proposing to turn the building 180 degrees so that the side that was facing the backyard would now face the street. This relocation is purportedly, quote, to properly show the existing front doorway and porch roof properly as originally intended front of the house, end quote. This change would alter the placement Mr. Crosby chose when he built the house in 1912 and placed the front doorway side facing east. Likely that placement was intentional and possibly allowed him to showcase the view of Chatham Harbor. The Old Village Association requests that the Chatham Historical Commission find that implementing this proposal would be a substantial alteration to contributing structures and initiate the process to refer the matter to the Cape Cod Commission. We encourage the property owner, the architect, and the Cape Cod Commission to work together to avoid this substantial alteration of the property and to maintain both the historic setting of the structure and the character of the streetscape. It is our hope that a collaborative effort will ensure that characteristics of the neighborhood we all value are sustained. Sincerely, Winnie Lear. The second letter I'm going to read is from Ellen Briggs, founder and president of Protect Our Past, dated June 15th, 2026. To members of the Chatham Historical Commission, it has been brought to the attention of Protect Our Past that the current owners are asking permission to radically change the buildings that have been sitting along 45 School Street since 1902. This proposal includes moving the two major contributing buildings off of their foundations, thereby changing this historic streetscape, which is legally protected by its position in the National Historic District of Chatham's Old Village. Plain and simple, this proposal is in violation of the preservation regulation, which has the purpose of saving the historic integrity of School Street. In turn, this old village is an iconic section of Chatham, revered by year-round, part-time, and visitors of Cape Cod. Walkers parade past this location in pursuit of witnessing history. Yes, they are saving the house and garage, but a proposed newly constructed structure will take this original house's place, altering the streetscape. Once that is gone, it is lost forever. Protect Our Past is opposed to this plan. Please send this owner back to the drawing board with the direction of maintaining the original house as it currently lines School Street. The garage has also contributed to the streetscape view and should remain where it is. There's plenty of land behind the house to create a satisfying solution for the current owner. Gratefully, Ellen Briggs. Finally, we have input from Elizabeth Kellum, the Community Design Planner of the Cape Cod Commission. Her first.
When are you reading, the original?
I'm reading both.
There's multiple letters.
I'm reading the first one and the
Yeah,
last one.
and then the second response.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm starting with her first input to us regarding 45 School Street. Thank you for sending this. It is up to the Historical Commission to determine whether the relocation is a substantial alteration. This will depend on whether the Historical Commission believes the relocation will preserve the building's historically significant or character-defining features, and whether or not it will change important relationships to the surrounding district. Given the project proposes relocation rather than fully or partially demolishing it, and because the building is not individually listed on the National Register and does not have a recorded significance with its current location on the lot, the Historical Commission could find that the relocation is a preferable option to ensure preservation. In determining whether it is a substantial alteration or not, the Historical Commission should seek clarity from the applicant regarding the particulars of the relocation to ensure that the building will remain intact and historic details preserved. If the commission does not have enough information to determine whether the building will be fully preserved, the relocation may be considered a substantial alteration, in which case it would be referred to us. The second input was following our meeting, and I think a submission of some updated or expanded plans. Thank you for the update. The only change I'm seeing is the removal of the existing hedge, followed by a slope regrade and an addition of a fieldstone wall and new plantings, with no changes to the historic building, nor its proposed relocation. If so, I don't have any changes to my previous comments, but please let me know if I'm missing something. Sincerely, Liz.
Thank you very much. Okay, any members of the public wish to speak for or against the application? Well, we're not taking a vote, so I'm not going to do that now. Let's wait till we have the actual vote, and then they can speak to the actual motion, because we don't have a motion yet that we're going to speak to. So especially since we seem to have a continuance for potentially a new plan. So I would like to make a motion that we, for the applicant's agreement, we continue the application to the July 14th meeting. This is the application for 45 School Street, which is number 26013. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Say again?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion is to continue the meeting to the July 14th per the applicant's concurrence. All right, we're going to do a roll call on the continuing the motion.
I would like
Bob?
to suggest a revision. Do you want to vote first? I would like
Again?
to suggest an addition to the motion.
To make a motion to the motion, sure. The motion is for continuance.
I realize
For a
that.
new application.
I realize that.
Okay,
I'd like
go ahead.
to add something
Make
to
a
it.
motion to modify it.
I move that we modify the motion for continuance to add that should we decide at our July 14th meeting to issue a demolition delay, that we issued that delay for 17 months instead of 18 months.
The second to that motion?
Second.
All right, now we're going to vote on the motion to make it 17 rather than 18. God bless you. All right. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert Wilson? The
Yes.
chair votes no, because it's just wasting time. All right, now we're going to vote on the primary motion to continue to July 14th. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, you want to come on up? We've got about 15 minutes to try and get this done, because this meeting is going to end at 12:30. The vice chair will take over at this particular time. You lost the chair.
What's going on? I don't know. I left because I had to go to the bathroom, but
All right, gentlemen, I'm Bob Lear. I'm the vice chair. I'm going to get started with this, and I'll start as Frank does. Why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us what you want to do?
I'm Jason Pananos, owner of the property at 90 Old Harbor Road.
And I'm Bill LaPlante from LaPlante Construction Company.
Okay, most of us were out at the site visit yesterday, and we have a general idea from that, but the general public does not. So if you want to give us an explanation from the drawings up there, and we'll be ready to get started.
So we have Jack Kemper, who's the architect, online
Welcome.
to present the project.
Hi, everybody. Jack Kemper here in Farmington, Connecticut. I'm the architect for Jason's house. The house was built in 1775, so it's 251 years old, I think. So what we're looking to do is, and Christina has the plans up. What we're looking to do is there's an addition on the back of the house, which you can see in the pictures. And then what we're looking to do is get rid of that 1961 addition and do a new addition that is about 300 square feet larger than it is, but on the footprint, and making that addition 2-story. So what we're looking to do is to take that down, do the 2-story addition on it. We're looking to keep with some dormers the front portion of the house, the original portion of the house, with changes replacing windows, repairing doors, and just upkeep with that. We're looking to put a new foundation, lift the house and put a new foundation under the whole house, including the new addition. We're looking, right now, there's kind of a barn shed in the back that they use as a pool house that we're looking to also keep. We're just adding some new sliding barn doors to that. So that's kind of the overview of what we're doing. We're looking to match the materials that are there, the wood shingles for the siding, the trim, the double hung windows. We're looking to, any new windows would be simulated divided light, Anderson 400 series. So we're really looking just to kind of extend the house backwards. What was important to us is to keep this addition, the ridge of this addition is 1 foot lower than the original house, so that, you know, when viewed from the street, it sets back. So we'd like the house to read as, you know, the primary portion of it, and then it gets extended in sort of the same vocabulary, the same roof pitches, the same exterior, so toward the backyard. So this slide shows the south elevation. That original doorway, just like the previous discussion, the front door is facing not where you would expect it. It's facing the side. But we're looking to just repair and repaint it and keep it where it is. We are looking to add some dormers on the front of that, on the south side, to the bedrooms, and then you can see the addition toward the back, which is, you know, you can see where that is. I don't know if we want to go to the next one. This is the north side. We have that section that comes, I'm using my pointer, I apologize, even though no one else can see it. We're looking to just repair the existing front door. We're keeping that sort of lean-to shed that's sort of the original mudroom, or I don't think they called it that back then. That's kind of going all the way back. We're kind of keeping that, the windows in the same place where it is. And then beyond that is where we're doing the addition, which is in the plans, a new kitchen and on the first floor, and a primary bedroom on the second floor. And then from these views, you can see the barn doors on the new barn doors on the shed, just replacing some individual doors. And I think that about covers everything that we wanted to do. I would say that the foundation we're looking to face with brick veneer, so it won't be concrete. So that's, so we really want to be faithful to the house and keep it going into the future.
Are you planning to do any lifting of the house as part of this process?
Oh, yeah.
And the whole thing, or?
Bill, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, we're looking at taking the addition off the back. The addition was done in the 60s.
Right.
So we're looking at taking that addition off and then raising the main house. There's not a significant foundation under the house now. There's just a small area for the mechanicals. So the thought was to lift that house up, dig down, put in an 8-foot foundation, brand-new foundation, and then bring the house.
An 8-foot basement, you mean?
Correct. 8-foot basement, yeah.
Okay, and where, is it going back to the same height, same elevation?
It is. It would be at the same elevation.
Frank, do you want to postpone this at this point, or
Say again?
you want to postpone this at this point, or?
If they want, it's up to them. If not, then we continue.
Okay. I was going to ask, we are in possession of a letter from Mr. Doherty, who was one of the prior owners of the property. I wondered if you'd had an opportunity to look at that and had any reaction to it.
Yeah, this is Jack talking again. Yes, we did get it, and we did have something, and I actually did a few markups. If I could share the screen, I could show you what our reaction would be.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Jeez, I don't know what, select tab to share. Oh, okay, got it. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is a different Teams thing than, let's see. Yeah, you're looking, this is not working the way I planned it, by the way, so I'll be quick.
Well, I do feel the need to comment that it's at least my practice that we don't give consideration to things that are handed out at the hearing, because it's not fair to, it's not fair to us, and it's not fair to the client to ask us to make a recommendation based on 45 seconds of review from a major project. So I have no problem getting it, and I appreciate the changes, but I would be asking for a postponement to give us a reasonable time to review these proposed changes, and so we can have a logical discussion about whether they solve problems that the commission may or may not have. So
these proposed changes are merely in response to comments that Jason has had with the previous owner. It's not something that we thought would be required. These aren't comments coming back from the commission. So we just bring that. We're looking for clear direction on something, a project here that's going to give the Pananos what they want and is going to be acceptable to the Historic Commission and preserves the integrity and the history of the home.
Well, that's fair. As you may gather, we're under a time constraint here in terms of coming up with a really reasoned discussion based on details.
How many copies we have?
So we just need some clarification. I have 5 papers that I have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, but we don't have packets for each of the commissioners. Is that correct?
Again, these were just printed off for discussion. They weren't submitted for approval. It was just so that we could discuss and get a clear understanding of what the direction of the commission is. I didn't know that the commission would think that, the public comment would be required and part of that. This is just our response, showing that we're willing to work with the commission and take into account comments from the past owner and other people to make sure it's a project that everyone's pleased with.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, we obviously will, but it's the timing and the ability to really do a meaningful review. Nancy, you have a hand up.
Yeah, I think in part this may have been to some comments during the site inspection, because I certainly felt like we needed a submission that showed like the full demolition, and that windows being demolished, windows being replaced are part of the demolition exterior features, the lifting and the replacement of the foundation. So it looks like you've tried to give us a more complete picture of the historic material or the parts of the historic structure. And I do think, though, that we need to be able to consider that and not, I felt yesterday that we needed to see it all together.
No, I understand, and at this point, our goal is to get the feedback, to make sure that all the concerns are addressed so that we can get to a vote. And we understand the time constraints here.
It's a missing sheet. So, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair?
Mr. Chair, yes.
Yeah, so I apologize for having to leave, I really do. There's 5 sheets, there are 5 sheets to this new addition here, just to clarify?
Yes.
Yes.
But we only have, how many copies? 3? Yes.
We have more.
We really don't have enough to, and they're not collated.
While he's doing that, does
Sorry?
Nancy want to read? While he's doing that, does Nancy want to read this into the record? And then
Yeah. Nancy, while we're collating that, Nancy, read that into the record.
Okay, I'm going to read a letter we received that's been referred to into the record, dated June 15th, 2026, from Abigail Doherty and David Doherty. They are, okay, they're going to explain. Relative to the above referenced property, 90 Old Harbor Road, my wife and I have concerns with the proposed new addition and the impact it will have on the existing 1775 Full Cape residents. Our particular interest in this project is prompted by the fact that 90 Old Harbor Road had been owned by my wife's family for 59 years, from 1956 to 2015. As longtime caretakers of the property, we are pleased to know that the current owner is sensitive to the historic importance of preserving this important structure. Our concerns are as follows. With respect to the 2 proposed double-window A dormers on the south side of the original structure, we feel that they are too large. We believe that 2 or 3 single-window A dormers would be aesthetically and historically more appropriate. I have attached a photograph showing 3 A dormers on a full Cape residence at 390 Old Harbor Road that is 36 wide by 32 deep. The subject property is 34 wide by 29 deep. This is the picture. With respect to the 2 proposed shed dormers on the north and south sides of the new addition, our concerns are as follows. We suggest that each shed dormer be centered on their respective roof. As shown of the proposed west elevation, the shed dormers on the new addition are higher than the dormers proposed for the existing structure. We think they detract from the westerly profile of the original structure and suggest that they be lowered so as not to be visible from the street. With respect to the windows as proposed, we are concerned about the lack of any continuity between those to be used in the original structure and the new addition. We hope that the owner and the Historical Commission will address this hodgepodge of windows and come up with a mutually satisfactory solution. A, proposed windows include double-hung sash windows, casement windows, transom windows, and fixed windows. B, proposed windows include 6/9, 6/6, 9/6, 9/9, and 3/3. C, the proposed north elevation calls for a bank of 7 windows, 9/9, on the first floor of the new addition. We suggest that consideration should be given to a different configuration of and total number of windows. Although architect-grade composite roof shingles have come a long way over the years, we would hope that the owner will give consideration to using red cedar shingles instead. We recognize the not insignificant cost differential between the two. However, this historic 1775 full cape deserves it. As the attached photo shows, the new owners of 390 Old Harbor Road replaced the previous architect-grade composite roof shingles with red cedar shingles. The difference is quite compelling. Yours sincerely, Abigail and David Doherty.
Mr. Vice Chair, can I ask a question?
Of course.
What is this that you just gave up? I apologize. What is this?
So it was a
Mr.
draft.
Vice Chair, can you recognize me? Thank you very much.
Yes, I
I
did.
didn't have my mics on. What is this package?
I'll let Jack add more detail, but it was a draft to attempt to address the concerns from the letter from Mr. Doherty. So we're expressing our flexibility and showing an alternative
So there are changes
adjustment.
to what you originally proposed? Yes? All right.
Yes.
To adequately do this, we really need some time to look at it, okay? We just get it, we just actually now finally collated. So I'm sorry, but I think, I want to give you a fair hearing here, but doing it on the fly like this, we're going to have problems, trust me. So
I understand. We also received those comments
I understand.
yesterday.
But, it wasn't insignificant, the comments. So I think you, with all due respect, you need to give us the courtesy of allowing us to look at it and understanding it. The worst thing we want in these meetings, my wife. I have to call you back. Sorry. I apologize to the public. Thank you very much. I thought I shut it off. I would ask that you give us the courtesy of, let's continue into the July 14th meeting. And I think we're going to get a better sense of where we are. Okay?
Could I ask if there were additional comments that we could receive guidance so that when we have our meeting on the 14th, that we could be in potentially a position to get our project
Okay,
approved?
Robert?
Yeah, I visited the site, and I had 4 positive things that you're doing, and I acknowledge that. The foundation, the roof line treatment is good. And preserving a 1775 building is fantastic. So all this is good, and the only concerns I have are in the Doherty letter. The dormers seem a bit too big, and the windows are hodgepodge and so forth.
Let's not get too much into details, just
That's
general.
fast, right?
Yes, Robert. No, good, I'm talking.
20 seconds?
I know, no, go ahead. Robert?
Yeah, I agree exactly with what he said. Thank you for saving this wonderful house. I like the changes that Doherty's suggested, if you can incorporate that. I'd like to apologize that you had to wait so long today to get to this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Steph?
The thing I was most concerned about was the cedar shakes and the hodgepodge of windows. Otherwise, great.
Thank you. Jana?
I think I have no problem with the proposed changes and look forward to the next meeting.
Thank you.
I'd like to see as much as possible in the historic, structure, that when you are replacing the roof, the shingle, are you replacing the sheathing as well underneath?
If, I had some confusion with the highlighted areas that were changed, because I know we talked yesterday at the site that the windows were not noted as being changed. I was under the impression it was just structural items that were being demolished, because the siding and the roofing is obviously going to be taken off and replaced. So if I could get some clarity for that for the next submittal, so I make sure, essentially the whole existing house would be highlighted because of siding, roofing, windows, and I just want to make sure that the submittal's correct.
For the original
Okay, no.
application?
Sorry, I have a list that I can pass on to you that is taken directly from, how the the Mass Historic Commission defines some of these things.
Okay.
But, certainly, these are exterior architectural features of the house.
Sure.
And that includes, so I would say, as much as possible, what we would like to see is like with like, or historic, what would have been there historically. If you're going to replace something that's been added that's modern, that's the ideal.
Sure.
So certainly cedar shingles would be, over, plastic roofing. Windows like for like, I realize, as much as possible, looking, and feeling, less plastic, more wood, always good. And I think having the addition kind of reflect that. The other thing that I noticed before I saw the Doherty letter myself was that although the roof line is the same on the addition, the dormer height is higher, and that is kind of obvious when you look at it from the street. And I think it would be great if you could take that down the way you've taken the roof down, so that the historic house remains the dominant structure, especially from the street view. That's my main.
Appreciate the comments.
What Nancy just said, then I often don't agree with it. Bob, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. I think Commission is back at the point we'd like to continue this until July 14th in order to review it more clearly and give you a chance to also have a look and see to what extent you would like to change things. Is that agreeable to you?
We appreciate you hearing us, and we appreciate the feedback and allowing us that feedback so that we can prepare, the changes and get the plans to you for the next meeting.
And we would like to get the plans at least hopefully the Wednesday before the 14th, whatever, the Thursday.
We will get them to you quickly, I assure you.
Yes,
Now we
usually
have warning.
the Tuesday before, the packets go out on that Wednesday before.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to continue the application to our next meeting on July 14th.
I'll second that.
We'll do a roll call then. Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, right. Janet?
Yes.
All right. Nancy?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes,
And Vice Chair votes yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for your
Mr.
feedback.
Vice Chair, I'd like to take over
you.
back the meeting, if I may.
Yes.
Just quickly, guys, and I apologize for the rush. That's life. Just back quickly on the agenda, we had no administrative approvals. On old business, you've got some information relative to my previous request to the Director of Community Development to get the Select Board to consider preservation restrictions. They are going to consider it, and at tonight's meeting, 5:30 here, it is on the agenda to discuss our recommendation. You have a copy of Katie Donovan's request. It's probably going to go forward, because if you look at as she said anecdotally here, the town attorney had no problem, and he feels that I'm looking at Robert, that we can proceed, transfer that, send that home, that we can proceed, and there's a process for doing it, and I don't expect, but you never know what happens when you get 5 or 6 people together, you get different opinions, and sometimes things don't go as easily as you thought they were. So we'll see. Well, hopefully tonight, I'm going to be there. If you have nothing else to do, tune in. I'm waiting for the information on the boathouse. There was a little bit of a problem in budgetary issues, which I think you saw in the paper, but apparently it's straightened out. Was concerned there that our restoration was going to either be put on hold or somehow scaled back, but we're back on track, and the consultant, Eric Dre, has concurred on the white and the red roof color, so we're kind of good on that. And the Nickerson Family Association, I'm waiting for that application, and very soon. So I didn't get any comments from any members of the commission, so I assume you read it, and you had no comments. She did a good job.
It was interesting.
Other than the fact that Eric Dre found a couple of minor problems. So that's pretty good. So hoping that will proceed. Okay, at this particular point, can you get a motion to delay? I mean, to adjourn? My mind is
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert Wilson?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. We now adjourn the meeting, or wait for the light to go out.